expect more from a lineup like Vitality.
Sankas, well played, good sir. Fantastic out.
More refined and a more better understanding Vitality of where they want to go in the game.
Splice have actually grouped up as a 5-man unit.
If Vitality managed to win this,
Maybe they just want a more front line, I'm not sure. Hey, Daisy.
Oh, that's not enough. They get blown up right there.
Second, and so is expect. They're going
all in for it right now. If they can melt through the shields, they just can't do it. And the rest of Giants caught in a massive strangleforge. G2 spelled blood.
We didn't even consider the playoff spot being an opportunity for Rocket. We thought the bottom four were fighting to stay out of relegation, but things have changed so quickly.
But what did we get from Misfits? And it's absolute dominance. He's gonna go right back down as Han Sama goes on a rampage. Itachi's still up, still alive. Shockwave goes in, it goes wide. That's massive. Unicorns, they're coming in. They're going strong.
Origin yet to win a series this split so far. Things are looking pretty bleak for them.
This is really good teamwork from HDK, not leaving any man face-checking on his own.
Make sure we don't rush any of these plays and just focus on what we can do.
Every time we get some small lead, we need to really fast ask ourselves, what is the next proactive play? What are we doing, you know?
It's not important how the game starts, it's much more important who finishes the game.
welcome to the European LCS. 2 weeks remain in the regular split, and so much is on the line. 2 playoff spots remain up for grabs, and the battle continues to rage at the bottom of the tables as teams fight to keep their head above the promotion tournament waters. We can see Splice there setting up on stage for the first match of the day. Hello everyone, I'm EpicSkillshot supporter, and joining me at the analyst desk is Mitch Krepo Voorspoels.
Did you
Token Belgian joke. Yes, I did.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you very much. No jokes needed, just compliments. Loving it. With 2 weeks remaining in the regular split, here is how the teams stand. 4 playoff spots have been locked already. Those 4 teams at the top of the table, and G2 Esports is still undefeated, raging on.
Yeah, massive game differential there as well. I'm also looking at the Unicorns in Group B. Quite a surprise. They started off really strong, and then for a moment, everybody was ready to write them off. And still, first place in Group B, looking for that bye.
Yep, and most recently beating out H2K for the 2nd time. This split, bottom of the table for Group B. Gotta repeat it here, officially also locked into the promotion tournament is Origin now.
What a surprise.
Well...
I mean, we all saw it coming, so
yeah,
they have their eyes set on promotion, which is a lot sooner this year.
It is all coming very quickly because the regular split ends April 2nd, difference from previous splits, so quickly that it is in 2 weeks, actually. The promotion tournament is coming up right after week 10, as are the quarterfinals of the playoffs.
Yeah, with the wonderful new format that we have here, we get another week of European LCS, which is great, but that means right after we go into quarters, we go into promotion tournament, but the goal is still 23rd of April right there, the EU LCS Spring Finals in Hamburg.
In Hamburg, or the 22nd if you're playing a 3rd place match. But as said, everything is just coming a lot quicker along than it was previous splits. Do you think that'll have a huge influence on what we'll see?
I mean, it'll show an adaptability. Some teams are really good at preparing for a single opponent over the span of 2 weeks, but some of these teams will need to kind of come to terms with the standings the way they are at the end of week 10, and then they have a single week to prepare for the next round of matches. If anything changes there, new picks come out, they'll need to adapt on the fly. But I like it. I like it when it's fast-paced and teams have to really show how quickly they can adapt to new opponents in a row, because it shows versatility and flexibility.
That it does, and how exactly our European teams will be spending April depends very much on what happens this week. And here is what is on the cards. A bunch of matches. Today, Splice versus Vitality will be the first, but I'm looking at that Rocket Misfits game of tomorrow, Krepo.
The Rocket hype train, 2-2, it keeps on going. 4 series wins, is it right now?
Yes.
Looking for a 5th. They beat Fnatic, who were considered above them by quite a margin. Obviously, Rocket was on the up and up, and Fnatic was on the way down, but the fact that they actually won that matchup created a really cool storyline, and maybe they can do it again. Can they work the magic against Misfits? A lot of people are kind of rooting against them and saying it's not possible, but I'd love to see an upset here.
Hey, and, you know, if they don't meet Misfits, they still have a chance to beat G2.
Yeah, of course, you know.
Well, they've themselves admitted that both of those would be hard, but it's
Yes.
definitely a match to watch tomorrow. But first up tonight is a battle between Splice and Vitality. And seeing as we're very, very close to the end of the split, we wanted to talk about expectations versus reality. And let's start with Splice. High expectations coming in. Why wouldn't it be? They had a fantastic summer split or end of summer split all the way up to Worlds and very close to G2 at the end of
Yeah,
that.
they went into Worlds as like the 3rd seed, but we kind of rated them the 2nd best team before Worlds finals happens. Obviously, they took a dip during Worlds, and HGK surprised many of us with the best performance right there. But that was all due to that 16-2 win-loss that they had at the very end of the split. Obviously, that last loss right there you see is a tiebreaker game where they were playing Science support. Obviously, Max played it right now, but super OP, but they won't bring it out. But it's interesting to see that the kind of same thing is happening right now in Spring.
Yeah, because we thought that they were on a downward trajectory in the beginning, but it seems that that ramp-up time is very similar to their summer split 2016 run, which should be good for them.
Yeah, it should be good. Now we obviously have to come to terms they played some weaker opponents, so if they really want to continue that upward trend, they need to start taking names of the big boys in their group, and they'll have to warm up with Vitality, but then the harder matches will still come for them. But Splice, they've been known to perform well in scrims, and a lot of teams have been saying Splice are actually not looking to find their footing. There's more of a translation error from the scrims environment to the stage.
So going into playoffs, this is what we really want to see now. We want Splice to find that upward trajectory or find the good form right before playoffs.
And that handsome man on your screen just now, Trashy, I want to see him become a really good captain right there, a shot caller. Find some more engage-heavy champions that he can kind of put to work and really, win the games for Splice.
Yeah, that's what we want to see. And if they manage to win one single game, that secures a playoff spot. And that would also then mean that Vitality is completely out of that playoff race. Now, playoffs is not something that we really see as reachable for Vitality. And if you talk about expectations versus what is it? The reality of the things that are actually true. Then we hadn't expect them to be a top team, but a playoff run should have been in there.
Yeah, I think that's the goal for every organization when they start at the spring split. They have hopes, especially and dreams, and then they all get crushed. For Vitality, it was another kind of, was it poor scouting? They had the police Mighty Bear story for a while. Obviously not the greatest Korean scouting right there, and now they had Hachani, came in as honestly, great support player, had a lot of good things said about him, but he couldn't find the direction in the games because he was always playing too forward and his team wasn't fouling. But then, once he was removed from the roster, we saw Vitality lost without any semblance of identity whatsoever. They were just playing like headless chickens.
Yeah.
Now, when Hachani came back, they're actually more willing to follow him, so that is good progression. Now, we don't know where this leads for Vitality because if they stay in 4th spot, they're not playing relegations, they're not playing playoffs, and I would be surprised if they keep the entire roster together. So what growth they may get in these few weeks here, I don't know how much it'll benefit the organization.
Oh, that's definitely something to track and look at. And the identity, we just want to see an identity from them and something, because they can still keep Splice from locking in, of course, that playoff spot if they manage to get out a win here. But it isn't seeming likely. Crepo, do you want to even have some predictions here?
For predictions, I mean, Splice will take this serious, but it's very, very important for Splice to take it 2-0 for their personal goals. And obviously, if Vitality want to keep their playoff dream alive, they need to win everything 2-0. That's very unlikely to happen.
Off the back of who do they
do that? This guy right here, Hachani, man, he's got to show up. He's got to lead them to victory because he is kind of the shot calling component that brought more proactivity to the roster. So if they can follow him to war, maybe it can happen.
Or Nuktak, he had a fantastic week last week, so maybe there's a shot there for them. The players are almost ready for picks and bans, so let's send it over to the casters for game 1.